Good evening. Um, Welcome to today's lessons. We'll look at quadratic equations. My name is Teacher HB. Those who are within Ndola, you can reach out to me. My line is 0971 225 Okay, so I'm going to look at how to solve quadratic equation for mathematics paper 2. The question that I have, I've picked these from past examination papers, and the question is saying solve the equation below, giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, now before you can start providing the solution, you need to know the definition for a quadratic equation. So a quadratic equation is an equation that can be written in the form a x squared then plus bx then plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are constants, but the value for a should not be equal to 0. The value for a should never be equal to 0 when we are dealing with a quadratic equation. So comparing the first question that we have to the standard equation of a quadratic equation, we can tell that the value for a is equal to 1, then the value for b is equal to -1, then the value for c is -19. Okay, then I'll write the equation or the formula. X is equal to -b, positive or negative, then the square root, then I'll have b squared minus 4ac, then over 2a over 2a. So when you are solving a quadratic equation, the line for division should start from here up to the far end. You need to take note of that. Do not write the line. The line should not start from here up to this point. Then the formula will not be correct. Okay, so I'm going to substitute now. So the value for x will be equal to negative, and the value for b is -1, then positive or negative, the square root, then where there is b, squared, then -4, open bracket, then what is a? The value for a is 1, then multiplied by, what is the value for c? The value for c is -19, then over 2, the value for a is 1. So x is equal to negative times negative, we are getting 1, then plus or minus the square root, then -1 times -1, it will give us +1, then we have -4 here, 1 times -19 is -19, then over 2. So x is equal to 1 plus or minus, and this will give us 1, negative times -4 times -19, we are getting positive 76, then over 2. So x will be equal to 1 plus or minus, then this will give us 77, then over 2. So here we are going to separate them. X is equal to 1, then plus the square root of 77, then over 2, or x is equal to 1 minus the square root of 77, then over 2. So x will be equal to, so at this point, I'm going to add 1 plus the square root of 77. You get the answer. Then you divide it by 2. Divide by 2. So I'm getting 4.88, 7, 4, 8, 2, 1, 9, 4. And the value for x, rounding it off correct to 2 decimal places, this will give me 4.89. Or on the other side, x is equal to, so we have 1 minus the square root of 77. You go on the calculator, then the answer that you get, divide it by 2. Okay, so I'm getting negative 3.88, then 74.8, then 2194. Rounding it off, I'll get 3.89. We can therefore conclude the value for x is 4.89, and the other value for x is negative 3.89. Okay, now what you need to to pay attention to at this point, if you want, you can put these into the brackets, or you take your time, punch on the calculator 1 minus the square root of 77. Have your answer first. When you get your answer, then divide it by 2. Do not go direct, as in 1 minus the square root of 77 divided by 2. It will give you a wrong answer. If you want to go direct, if you want to go direct, what you can do, you can put this in brackets, then you say 1 minus the square root of 77 in brackets divided by 2. That way it is okay, and it will give you the correct answer. Okay, I will look at the second question. This question will end here. Thank you for following.